Hello, Solitaire. Let me show you your new gear. They say you are good with a gun and the girls seem to like you, but you are hardly the Einstein of operatives. We can fix that. Face it, your brain is a hopeless mess of incomplete sentences and adolescent fantasies. This device will help you just think straight. Use it to discover evidence and decide what it means. I am giving you an experimental prototype. Basically a neurotransmitter with psychoclassifiers and logic analyzers. We call it the Think Machine. It will function perfectly when it comes out of beta. Right now, you might see a glitch or two. Make notes. The Think Machine is all about solving mysteries. A scientist like me solves difficult mysteries all day long.
So does a secret agent.
From time to time. See, on the device, where it asks, who is number one genius? That is your mystery, chosen completely at random, I must add. I like to call this your quest. Your quest today is to identify the top genius ever.
I know the answer. Where's the button I push?
You can't go forward until you have a hypothesis, a possible solution to our quest. So you stumble about until you come up with one.
Albert Einstein, of course. There we go. I have an Einstein hypothesis. And a red button. Ooh, now I press the red button, right?
Fine, yes.
Wait a minute. That's a trap. The Think Machine is supposed to help me think. I don't really have any evidence here. How do I get evidence?
You can investigate the hypothesis.
Let's go.
Take it easy, big shot. This prototype has limited power. You only get a certain number of investigations, depending on the quest and on your hypotheses. Right now, you only have 5.
Sure, I see that 5. How do I investigate?
See the hypothesis floating in your test tube? Just click on it. Let the Think Machine do all the work. It suggests questions to investigate the Albert Einstein hypothesis.
How do we know that Einstein was the world's greatest genius?
Well, they will tell you he invented E equals mc squared, like they even know what that means. But okay, E equals mc squared supports the Einstein theory. So grab that evidence, feed it into the bottom of the test tube to support your silly little Einstein claim.
How do we know that Einstein was not such a great genius?
Good question. How many inventions did Einstein patent? Just one. A dumb refrigerator that nobody wants. And anyway, that was a shared patent. Lizard did all the work, if you call copying a Swiss invention work. So I'm not counting that one. Let's say 0 original patents. That's a fair estimate. Take the evidence and pop it into the top of your test tube. Ho ho ho! Albert's boat is starting to sink a little, isn't it? This Think Machine has an important feature. Disconfirming facts have more weight than supporting evidence. It takes a lot of bubbles to float an idea, but only 1 or 2 heavy blobs to sink it back down.
How do we know that Einstein was the world's greatest genius?
Who cares? Einstein is overrated. Ask a disconfirming question to see what I mean.
How do we know that Einstein was not such a great genius?
How well did he do in school? Not so great. For example, it took Einstein 7 years to get a PhD. This is not genius performance, if you ask me. Let's take this evidence, slow student, and pop it into the top of your test tube. Poor Albert. Boat is sinking even more. Now, this evidence is not as important as the terrible patent record. Because it is less important, you should make the blob a bit smaller. Grab the edge of the blob and shrink it a little. But don't shrink it too much, or it will pop. If it pops, you must pull it back into the test tube from the list on the side.
How do we know that Einstein was the world's greatest genius?
Well, they say he invented the atom bomb. Go ahead, feed it into the bottom of the tube. The atom bomb. Now there's a piece of work. Go ahead. Stretch the bubble out until it is huge. Atom bomb surely dwarfs a silly equation when it comes to genius achievements. Look how it floats Albert's boat. It is bobbing on the surface like a happy little genius. Oh, but just one little problem. It isn't very true. Albert Einstein did not invent the atom bomb. Not really. He wrote a letter to the president to say that somebody else should invent the bomb. My little nephew can write a letter, so the bomb evidence is huge, but thin. You can use the wheel to make the bubble thinner. Or use the slider on the side on the evidence list. See how the bubble gets thinner, more transparent? Here is a new hypothesis. Maybe Dr. Whiz Headley is the world's top genius. That is an interesting theory. Let's examine it. I won't allow false modesty to confound this experiment. Notice that the machine allows you a few more investigations now that you have this interesting new theory.
How do we know that Headley was the world's greatest genius?
Where do I start? There's the think machine. I invented that. That's got to prove something. Feed that evidence into the bottom of the Headley tube, and let's get these bubbles moving.
How do we know that Headley was the world's greatest genius?
Let's talk patent count. I have earned over 256 patents in Capital City alone. Put that in the bottom of my tube and we'll see how it supports my case. Make it bigger. Bigger still. Stretch that bubble out. And it is super true. You can look up the number, so make the bubble very dense. Float my boat, Solitaire.
How do we know that Headley was the world's greatest genius?
Chess is a terrific measure of genius stature. Here we go. Albert was ranked 1400 in chess. I don't call that genius level at all. Let's feed this evidence into the top of the Einstein tube and sink his tiny raft a bit more. Now the same evidence, chess, is great for the Headley proposition. I don't mind telling you that I ranked first, second, and third in the Capital City World Cup. This is the best kind of evidence. Something disconfirms one hypothesis while supporting another, especially when it supports the correct hypothesis.
Ooh, now I press the red button, right?
Fine, yes. Please note, it is an impartial machine that proclaimed me the #1 genius. I happen to agree, but that is a mere coincidence.
I don't know how you did that.
One more thing. The Think machine has a help desk built right in. We call her Dr. K, and she's online 24/7. She will monitor your use of the device and offer you help. Really, whether you need it or not. I don't think we've installed an off switch. Okay, Solitaire, I've got to go. If you have any more questions, just ask